Mic check. 1, 2. All right, cool. Sound good to me.
Ask me, Tim, which hip-hop artist has never disappointed you with his art? And I would definitely say my next guest. His new album is called Monday. He's Joell Ortiz, and I welcome him back to the library with Tim Einenkel.
What's up, Tim? How you doing?
Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I think I lost my step.
I want to start with the first track of the album, Captain.
Okay.
Second track.
Yeah. Well, second. First.
Where you spit, coming up, you heard the hunger in me, tough as can be.
You heard the hunger in me, tough as can be. You couldn't sound cloudy, nigga, nothing was free. If I ain't get a record deal and I was stuck in the P's with D's trying to Spotify, had a wonderful stream of income.
And you kind of talk about this in another track, Screens, but how has the development and access to being online, to being in SoundCloud, how do you think has that changed kind of the definition of, one, quote unquote, making it in the game, and two, worth ethic of today's artists?
I feel like the access is good. Because like I said, in my day, like if you didn't get co-signed by a major label or get a record deal, then no one ever heard you. So you had to make sure you were really, really good.
Right.
Which meant like rewriting songs, having people around you that are like, maybe you should attack it this way. This is what we're going to bring to the game. Just, a whole rollout, so to say. And now, you can pretty much just put a screen in front of your face, say, this is who I am and this is what it is, and, release music however you want to release it. And, I think it's good because, I do think that a lot of, great talent didn't quite get that look because it didn't get that cosign. But I also do think that there's no filtration now. So you get an influx of music and not all of it is great.
Right.
And it's noisy now. Now it's noisy. Like, a release used to last for a while. Like people cared about an artist release because you got them so far and in between.
Right.
And now with so much stuff, like I literally just put my album out and everybody's like, what's next?
Yeah,
I'm just like, yo, absorb, just a little bit, absorb. But it is fun to be able to just like, release stuff when I feel like releasing stuff and have the outlet and direct connect to my fans that I didn't once have. So, it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
Yeah.
On the track, you also spit, trying to out-rap Nasir and keep up with Jay-Z. So what's that, it's always obviously two amazing artists that
Right.
you try to out-rap, but
Right.
what were those, what was that one Nas track and one Jay-Z track that you kind of, wish you were on a fly on the wall maybe to listen to, or wish you could have written?
Well, I don't think it was one Nas track or one Jay-Z track. It was just the body of work and the artists that they were and that they are. Listening to, everybody's the Illmatic head, like it's automatically rap. It's embedded in rap people's heads. Like that's a classic. But I was the guy that was like, it was written is the one to me. Like,
that's awesome.
cause I felt like the maturity in my opinion, like I felt like the growth had happened on that second album. So like songs like The Message and Shootouts and, I Gave You Power were just like, okay, this guy just became a gun. Like this is your competent, they don't know you're incompetent, but this is what you have to compete with if you're trying to be a rapper. This guy sat at home and said, I'm going to become a gun and write from the perspective of a freaking pistol. So, that kind of like forward thinking is what I was really in competition with. And then Jay-Z, he just had a way with words that was so slick and, I'm a little bit better than you, but it's okay. I'm Jay-Z. He had that aura. That mesh, those two worlds were something I wanted to like conquer. Like, all right, I have to be as creative as Nas and I have to have that on me like Jay-Z. And, I'm in no way, shape or form trying to compare myself to those great guys. I'm just saying as an aspiring artist, that was what I felt I had to compete with if I wanted to make a name for myself.
It's interesting too, because I think the thing with Nas is that we hear Illmatic and then everything after for a lot of us was, it has to be another Illmatic, right?
Right.
And then as an artist, you're like, no, it's about development. Right?
Yeah.
It's about it took me a while, admittedly, to be like, oh yeah, actually it was written is equally a great album.
It is, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. So, but you're like, no, where's Illmatic?
Yeah.
Where's Halftime from Illmatic?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to try to, connect lyrics that you've written.
Okay.
I like talking about your lyrics. I think
you.
it's also that's what you do. It's important to talk lyrics.
I agree.
So I want to go back to Hip Hop off of Brick City Bodega Chronicles.
Okay.
And then you write, and then kind of talk about Captain. One of my favorite lyrics you've ever done was, I ain't trying to bring New York back, I'm just a breath of fresh air. That New York rap, Slick Talk to the Track, come on, who brought that to the game? And I want to pair that up with kind of the ending of Captain, where you go Brooklyn, Staten, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, I stomped through all of that. What happened? New York, I'm so proud to be your captain.
Right.
I think it's interesting because on hip hop, you are acknowledging those before you, right? Acknowledging those New York artists before you.
Right.
And now on Captain, you're kind of taking that mantle and being like, I'm your captain now. Do you feel that's what you're doing? You're kind of acknowledging that, okay, I'm the New York captain. Or what happened with New York hip hop that you want to kind of take that captain role?
I don't know if it's so much taking the captain role more than it is just me recognizing that music has changed a lot. There's, what I do, bars.
Right.
I have integrity with my pen. I make sure that I say something with my voice, and I make sure that I say it in a complex way to where real lyric enthusiasts appreciate it. Hip hop heads can rewind and have replay value on a record. And that's pretty spread out right now. I'm not trying to knock anybody, but it's not in the forefront. What's in the simplicity is really what's being pushed forward now. So complex rap, what I was talking about on the brick, graffiti all on a train, that has taken a back seat to the agenda that I think is being pushed right now. And that's, let's party. Let's drink and drug and do things of that nature. But I can't do music that isn't me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I can't, although I could easily, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I could easily dumb it down to make records to please other people. But if I'm not pleased, then it sucks. You get what I'm saying? So when I say I'm so proud to be your captain, it's kind of like the boat's been rocking, and it been tossing off some of the, the barsmen and the lyricists and things of that nature. And it kind of been steered by just a whole different, I feel like, genre.
Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like trap music is a genre.
Yeah. Totally
it's a subdivision of hip hop. But it's getting pushed in the forefront. So, it's very popular. But what I stand for will never change. I'm still the kid that came from trying to be the best in rap ciphers. I'm still the one that, says, comes out of the booth and looks around to see if anybody's like, oh, you know what I mean? It still excites me to be really clever and witty. And New York has gotten away, in my opinion, from that sound. And I understand, I'm not coming at aspiring artists, because when I was the aspiring artist, you listen to the radio, and that's what guided you in some way to make the sort of music you thought you needed to make the radio.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So if you're 15, 16 years old and you turn on New York radio and all you hear is trap, you're going to associate getting on the radio with making trap music.
Right, yeah,
that's my way on. That's what people are trying to do. So I got to try to do that. But I don't come from that era. I come from like I said, the Nas, the Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, M.O.P., it was a different day when I was an aspiring artist, and I can't shake that. I can't shake that. I care about it too much to try to make music that wouldn't please me, and in turn probably wouldn't please any of my fans, because they take the same stance I do. So when I say I'm, the captain, just somebody that refuses to veer away from what he loves, and hopefully everybody will appreciate the honesty and not feel like it's an outdated approach to making music, but more so just an appreciation of what it came from. And that's that.
Speaking of honesty, where did that honesty come from? And I asked that because what I've always appreciated about your work is that you're honest with us. You share a lot.
Yeah.
And you do that on the track Learn You,
yeah.
Which is a track to your kids,
right.
Kind of apologizing for being on the road, being part of the grind, missing out on a lot of stuff, even say what's good about having the toys if I'm not there to play with,
Right.
And I'm assuming this is a conversation that you've already had with them.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, and now you're sharing with the public this conversation. Why take that, for us would be a very private moment and share with everyone else?
To be honest, again, I didn't I didn't necessarily share that with them before that song. I made some changes and some adjustments that would, lead them to see, oh, Dad's a different dude now. He's not so in and out, or, his head is here. Wow, we had dinner. Like, we really had dinner. He showed up. He wasn't late. I've been doing things to show that, I'm ready to commit to learn them now, like I say on the song. But the song itself was the first actual, hey, guys, I kind of messed up. This was what I was doing. This was what I was paying attention to. It was making your lives a little bit better than mine was, but I wasn't there, and that's my fault. And I can't get that time back. So let's try to start again now. Learn You was the first time I actually said that stuff. And it's the first time that they heard it from my mouth to their ears, even though it wasn't in front of them. I played Learn You on Father's Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had my oldest son lives in Atlanta with his mom. So I flew him up, and I had my youngest son over, and I had my family over, and it was Father's Day, and I had my mom over, and we were all barbecuing and stuff. And I was connected to the Bluetooth. So I'm playing barbecue music, and then I don't know, I just looked, I had a beer or two in me, and I was just looking around at, my situation now. I'm like, I got both my kids here. I got my mom here. I got my fiance here. I got friends here, family. This is a great setting. Wow. Who would have thought, the boy from Cooper Projects would be living a life like this? And I was like, I want to tell him, it's Father's Day. This is the day to tell him. So I scroll through the Bluetooth, and I go to my Monday album, and I hit play on Learn You. And I just sat back. I had the shades on, so nobody could see where I was looking, but I was looking directly at my kids. And I see them kind of go from like joking around to like head up in the air, like, what's this? And then they vibing, and then my oldest son comes over, and he sits next to me. He doesn't say anything, and he's still vibing. And then the song goes off, and then he goes, and he turns to me. He's like, why are you getting all mushy, man? I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, come on, Dad, knock it off, man. I know what it was. You here now. And then my youngest son comes over, and he's like a softie. He just hugs me. He's like, Dad, I was never mad at you. I was like, so I had that moment. I was just like, woo, like music gave me a way to say it without saying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that song means a lot to me and my family. And, I'm happy I was able to get that off of my chest, because it's been something that's been on my spirit for a long time.
A song like that, when you talk about, obviously the ultimate cosign, right, is your two kids, your two sons' reaction to it.
Right.
But prior to that, was there someone that are you for this type of song? Is there a sounding board, or do you know, or is it you that know this is exactly what you want to say? This is the perfect way of saying it.
On Learn You?
On Learn You.
Well, you know what? Shout out to Big Crit, who produced that record and also did the chorus. It started with me reaching out to him and saying I want him on this project in some way.
Right.
And him being like, yo, I'm honored, OG, and let's talk about it. And me and him were on the phone for I would say a week or so, back and forth, just about life stuff. Just about, being parents, being a parent, or, the sacrifice and the grind, or just non-music stuff, just, sports or whatever, just talking, just shooting the shit is what we call it. Just going back and forth as two humans and talking about how people don't do that as much now with screens. That's another song. But you just I guess he wanted to vibe with me and see where I was at. And I appreciated him caring that much to not, just be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna send you beats. It wasn't about that. It was just like, let me figure out what we're gonna talk about first. And I think one of the last conversations we had, I had talked about the grind or whatever. And I was just like, what's tough? And I mentioned the sacrifice with my children, and he was just like, that's it right there. That's what we're gonna talk about. Let's get to it. The people need to know that. And then like a day or so later, it was in my email, and he was like, what do you think? And I just called him like, yo, this is fantastic. This is great. He was like, you think so? I said, yeah, man, this is great. He was like, I might tweak up the chorus. I said, don't you touch that. Don't you touch that chorus, man. That's it. And, I recorded Learn You, and then, I sent it to him, and he called me, and he was like, it's amazing. Like, that's an amazing song. It immediately evokes emotion. And people are going to feel this. And that's all I wanted to do if I was going to be a part of your project, was make people feel. Yo, congratulations on a great record, and good luck.
And also, I mean, you do a few things in this on this album, but with Anxiety and with Learn You, is that you break down that wall that fans have of your life, of the artist's life. You know, it's great, whatever, you're on the road, people yelling at you, good things, not yelling at you, curses, but, you know, good things.
Yeah, they do stuff.
But, you know, that type of stuff. Are these, with Anxiety, but also with Learn You, are these conversations that artists have with each other, or is that not as open or talked about? I mean, like, you know, because like years ago you have Pharoah Monch's PTSD, right? Which is an album about, obviously, PTSD and in the community, and not just military PTSD. But so you have that open conversation happening, but are these conversations that are happening on the road with artists, or is that kind of...
It depends on who, you know, like, it's so personal that you want to be careful who you open up to, because it could be tricky. You know, in the studio, when I'm around certain friends, we talk about stuff like this, because as an artist, as a producer, as a musician, as a person that's looked at and viewed by public, it gets tough sometimes because you don't always want to be known, if that makes sense. You know, sometimes you're in Target and you just want to grab some stuff for your house, and you just don't feel like being a figure in the public. You understand? So you can't unfamous. That's what people don't understand. Whether you're doing super well financially or musically or whatever, or you're struggling, your face stays the same. And we're human, and we go through the same things that everybody else goes through. And sometimes we don't feel like it. We just don't feel like being who you view us as. Sometimes I'm regular old Joell Ortiz, just the human. And it weighs on you. I talk to some friends in the studio, because a lot of us go through that stuff.
Right.
My anxiety is more so, I think, rooted in my childhood, with some things that I don't think anybody should have saw coming up in the projects, you know, seeing death really, really young, you know, shootings and stabbings and cuttings and, jail and police brutality and things of that nature, things that you kind of think you just escaped from and you washed away.
Yeah.
They start re-emerging as an adult inside your psyche and inside your subconscious. And it's tough. You know what I mean? So I'll have days where I just wake up and I just don't feel like myself, or I'm just wondering, like, why am I so anxious? Why am I nervous? What's going on? Or I'll move into a different place in my life. Like, I just bought another house and now I'm engaged, and, you know, I had that moment on Father's Day. Believe it, although it was all beautiful, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So I instantaneously was like, you can't lose this. You got to make sure that you maintain this. Like, this is what you work so hard. Like, you know, there's a level of like worry that comes over me because I know what it is to be from the bottom. And on Anxiety, I talk about, like, you know, before meetings, before shows, you know, certain things that, you know, it'll just get to me and make me bubble up, and I'll just have a little bit of a panic attack. And I've learned how to manage them a lot better than I did back in the days. Like, I just used to, and no one knew, but I have little methods and things that I can tell myself, and, you know, cognitive behavioral things that, you know, just make me be like, all right, calm it down. This is what's going on. You'll be fine. You've been here before. But anxiety is a real thing, and mental health is at an all-time high now because of these things. Yeah. Because of these telephones. We're in secret competition with everyone. We're scrolling on Instagram and seeing, oh, snap, this guy it's very funny. He made me laugh. Ha, that was funny. Swipe. Wow, there's fires in Brazil that are burning for 4 months. For a month. Swipe. This guy died? What the hell? Swipe. Like, it's all types of things that you think you're just getting rid of because they're like 10 seconds, but you're downloading this inside your conscious.
And you get like news updates.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, we're walking around, in my opinion, privy to more knowledge than we need to have.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I got my news from the news late at night when I was a kid. You can get news all day. We're overloading.
Yeah.
And anxiety is a big thing. And I felt like if I talked about how I feel, and, you know, and people heard that they would feel that they're not alone. Cause that's a big thing. With people who have anxiety, we feel like, oh man, I'm the only person going crazy. this sucks. Nobody knows I'm going crazy. No one else can feel like this. I've been to doctors. I asked them what's going on. They're just like, just calm down. You might have anxiety. But we automatically associate that with, you're going nuts.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the only thing. It's because the doctors are basically saying nothing's really wrong with you. It's all in your head. And what does all in your head mean? Oh, I'm going crazy. This freaking sucks. And you think you're all alone. So, you know, when I put anxiety on that album, I knew that I would talk to somebody else who feels like me. And the feedback from that song has been crazy because my DM has been flooded. My emails have been flooded with thank you. I needed that. Yo, it's so crazy. That song describes me to a T. And these are people that are working regular 9-to-5s and just walking outside feeling like, you know, trying to portray that everything is okay, but it's really not. We're in a tough time.
Yeah. And if, you know, for us as fans of yours, you know, you like I said, your openness is that, but we see, all right, Joell's writing this down. So this is his therapy, right? I mean, you know,
right.
and so when you have a song like Anxiety, you're like, well, so, you know, him just writing wasn't enough to, you know, get these quote unquote demons away or get, so I was also wondering when did you know that what you had was, I guess, anxiety? When did you know that writing wasn't enough?
I mean, just when regular life stuff was happening. Like I talk about it in the anxiety song, going to the gym, like, gotta lose weight, just looking at old pictures, like, come on, man, you were in shape, get it right. Then you walk in the gym, you're like, who's looking at me? Who's saying, is that Joell Ortiz? Damn, he got heavy again. All that kind of stuff. Just driving on long drives and you're just like, yo, man, what if I get pulled over and the cop doesn't really like me? Like just weird stuff pops into your head and it's just excessive worry. And I'm just like, all right, it's more than just writing it down. It's writing it down. It's spitting it. It's listening to the song myself, you know, every now and then whenever I'm feeling antsy, and reminding myself like, yo, dude, like, think about Saturday. Look how great you were on Saturday. You had a couple beers with your friends. You were chilling. I know it's Tuesday and it's rainy, but there's brighter days. Right. You can conquer this thing.
Cool. I want to turn to the name of the album, Monday.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, when I heard Monday, you hear that annoying quote, looks like someone has the case of the Mondays, which is one of the most annoying things for us today. But your Monday represents something totally different. That's not the case of the Mondays. So if you could kind of break it down, what does the Monday mean to you?
Monday is the restart, man. Monday is the day your second chance again. We get 52 of them? We get 52 Mondays, man. 52 second chances, a new day to hustle, a new day to get back after it, to get back to work, to get to the grind. Everybody, you know, dreads these days, but I don't come from that era. I come from like a whole week's worth of me getting to it, finding another way to hustle, get to the bag. This generation is very lazy, man. They just want they want Friday and Saturday to be so great, but they don't want to hustle for it on Monday. Like that, you don't understand. Your weekends are made up, are controlled by the way you attack those other days, you know? So I just wanted to let people know I'm back to work. This is what it is. Like it's not a day you should dread. It's a day you should look forward to. And I look forward to this album. I am excited about putting out some of the more personal stuff, you know, to the people and letting them know that, yo, listen, I'm vulnerable. Like I'm not a superhero. Like when you bump into me, it's not like, oh my, you don't have to lose your mind. You can literally say, what's up? Let's take a pic. Mm-hmm. This is Joell. And most importantly, if you run into a ditch, like if you fall into a little valley and you're looking up and you're just like, damn, that's a long way to go. It's one step at a time. You know what I'm saying? It's one day at a time. Start on Monday. And then Tuesday, you do your thing. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Skip the partying. Just chill for a second. Get back to it again on Monday. You always have a chance to to climb up out of those deep valleys, bro. Like you're not alone out here.
And it's you share yourself in terms of, you share yourself a lot outside of being a hip hop artist. You share, Joell is a human being.
Right.
And I want to kind of step back a little bit and go to, 125th Part 1 off of Brick Bodega Chronicles, and where you kind of and the track Hip Hop. Okay. And that's really you kind of telling your life as a hip hop artist coming up and the struggle and the grind that you had to do. And then in the track before Hip Hop off Monday, you tell us your life before hip hop, obviously. Right. how does your life before hip hop, how did that play a role in you as a hip hop artist? And then when was that moment when you're before hip hop that you turned to yourself and like, I could do this. I could be a hip hop artist.
Phew. I mean, the person I was before hip hop, growing up in the projects, surrounded by a lot of negativity, to be honest with you. Like I said earlier, gun violence, drug violence. I was a product of that. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't partake in some things that I'm not so proud of today. Right. So what you got on the Brick Bodega Chronicles was a very raw, fresh off the block Joell, because I still had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Because we spoke about earlier, you needed a cosign to get in. Like right. I couldn't just decide, you know what, I'll be a rapper. Like you still had to get that stamp of approval. You're signed here. Your album's coming out. Now you're a rapper. So I had 1 foot in the streets and 1 foot in the booth. And that's the kind of music I made. It's also the reason I decided to go with Joell Ortiz as my name. Because I was like, all right, I'm about to say everything that I am. What better name than my own? Right. Like no one else can copy this. No one else can say, this is not who he is. This is who he turns into. Like, no, bro. Like I just left the block and now I'm going to the booth because, my manager at the time, Dennis, who is now, like one of my best friends and mentors, is like coming to get me at 5:00 and I have to be ready. Like I can't let him down. Like he's putting his own money into this stuff and I got, it's bigger than me now. There's other people involved that see my talent. I can't like half-ass this. So I would go into the booth with, half braided hair and sometimes drugs in my pocket, and lay down everything that I was living. Like there was nothing made up, songs like Caught Up, things like hip hop. Like I would, hip hop was inspired by turning on the radio and hearing like, saying that hip hop is dead. Yeah. And she's like, oh shit, what the hell's happening? But just when I'm taking this shit serious, we're done. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got the exact same kid that was on the block in the booth. Mm. Like there was no separation. And now, like you were saying, like before hip hop on this album, it's a way to look back and like, instead of like looking at it like it was so horrible, like, cause for a long time I looked at it like, damn, man, like you were a horrible person. But like, there's other ways to look at it, like look at how you've grown from that. Right. You were a victim of circumstance and you have now become this, like before hip hop. And that's why I chose such a boppy beat to where like I can party to some of the negative shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's all good. It's a part of your story. Those are early chapters. It makes for a good read. You're okay. Like, and that's how that song happened. So, the raw kid from the block, into the booth, Brick Bodega Chronicles, you got like drug rap, you got like 125 part 1, like like just mirror on the wall, who's the most feared up and coming MC of them all, like
Joell Ortiz.
But of course, you crazy. This kid's been nothing short of awesome. Like just like I had that, like everybody's got to know me. Like I'm repping around my neighborhood. I'm not only just a dude in the booth, I'm not a booth guard. Like people respect me. I put in work in the streets. Like And now, before hip hop, it's just like looking back like, you think you know me, you don't really know me. Back in my hood, I'm still a one and only. Like, yo, this is Joell from then to now. Still the same guy, but looking at things differently.
One of the, I think there's a lot of favorite tracks, but one of my favorite tracks is your song Mama. Okay. Which is obviously your ode, your thank you, to your mom. And
there was so much more to be said on that song, but it's a song. Right. I can't make it 25 minutes. Thank you.
We're going to go back to the 70s and make a 30-minute song.
I remember that one time, like I can't, no.
Age 3.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice that your mom ever gave you, that you kind of like, you remember her saying, you kind of like, think back to this day and you use it, and maybe you've used it on your own kids?
My mom used to say, like whenever I used to get into stuff in the projects, my mom used to always say this one thing. She'd be like, you got two friends, me and Jesus. That's it. And when I was young, I was like, oh, my mom is crazy, man. But like, she's like, what she was trying to tell me was like, we're in a cutthroat environment. Mm-hmm. Friends turn on friends all the time. And every bit of advice or everything I tell you, you could take it to the bank. Like, it's rooted in love and nothing else but love. Like, and the same thing for the man upstairs. So I don't know if I tell that to my kids, but I understand that statement so much now when I'm telling my kids something. Like, no one's going to give you better advice than I am.
Right.
I can take that you can count on that. And when she used to say it when I was real little, I used to just be like, oh my God, she just came and got me from a party before everyone. Like, she's knocking at the door. She'd be like, didn't I tell you 9:30? It's 9:40. What's going on? I'm telling you, Mario, you only got 2 friends out here, me and God. I just be like, oh boy, but I totally get it now. Like, my dad left when I was really early. I had a stepfather figure for a while, but then he stepped off. So mom has been the constant. She's been mom and dad for a long time. And, I know that with my sons, me being on the road and traveling so much, when they're with their moms, like their moms probably feel the exact same way. So when I speak to them from me and from their mom, being that I know what it is to be at home with just a mom as a parent. Yeah. So like, I try to be sensitive to know that side of their world exists as well. But I'll tell them things and look them in their eyes and, say it with my chest so that they know it's coming from here. And then I'll also spin and be like, but listen, your mom's right. I make sure that I instill your mother's right. When she said da 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 da, and they'll just be looking at me like, damn, Dad, like, like, I want that dad stuff, and you give me the dad and the mom stuff. But I think it's so important to give them both perspectives. But in my mama's case, listen, best friends, me and Jesus, it really sticks with me because to this day, like when I'm going through my anxiety stuff, I pray on it. I call my mother, cause she has anxiety as well. And we talk about some things and she's just like, you good, and she walks me through some stuff. So it wasn't only my sons that I skipped out on. Like I actually, I skipped out on my mom as well too. When you're on the grind, you're away from everybody. Yeah. When you're chasing your passion down and trying to like pursue your craft on all levels, then everybody becomes secondary. Like it just is what it is. That's the only way I thought it was to succeed. Like I had to put my head down, be a rapper, be the best artist you can be, write. And when you're not writing, hit the studio. And when you're not in the studio, try to do a show. When you're not in the studio, hit line up tours. Like just keep going. And, for a long time, I would just pop in on my mom. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Here's a few dollars and go. Yeah. Hey, Mom, how you doing? I know you ain't got no weed, do you? You want some weed? Here you go. Like my mom is like an OG pothead. Here you go. Here goes. And I would think that was the way to show love, but my mom missed me. Right. She missed me because I was her world for a long time and the only thing in her world. And so I decided to make this record and, kind of talk to her and, let her know that she's super appreciated and all the things she used to tell me when I was young, they're hitting home hard.
One of my favorite and standout lyrics in this song is you spit. I remember I would wake you up with raps while you were sleeping, loose leaf paper in my hand.
Half a wolf, you'd say keep reading.
And I thought the keep reading part was amazing because it shows that support that your mom had, and it's also she's part of the parent generation,
right?
Because I think you and I are around the same age,
right? 21, right? Like,
21. I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, I'd say my 21st birthday.
Exactly.
Where you're like, where rap is this new kind of like, for example, like I grew up in Washington Heights, but the conversation I'm having with my parents is like, no, it's art. It's an art form. It's an art form. It's not, you like other stuff, but it is an art form. And the fact that your mom's like, all right, keep reading. I want to hear you say these lyrics. So 2 things. What lyrics were you saying to your mom at this time? and how is that that support she had? What was that factor for her in supporting you?
So the lyrics I used to say were like out of this world street stuff that I was not doing. I was like 11, 12 years old when I used to do this stuff. So I'd be like, yo, I just stole a car and it's pop, 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 and my Glock went pop. Like, and she'd be laughing or whatever. Like, cause I used to, Ma, listen to this. Ma, listen to this. And she would never be like, no, not now, or I'm doing something. She would always be like, let me hear it. Let me hear it. And I know why. There's 2 reasons that she would do that. One was because she actually thought I was good. Because I was always good with words. Like, I was smart in school, like, really like a nerd. I skipped grades before and all that kind of stuff. I had fantastic scores on my SATs. I could have went to a bunch of colleges, all types of things. So I was always like geeky. So when I would spit to her, like, I would, I have my personality in it because I'm, naturally like funny. All my friends say I should have been a comedian, whatever. Another story, another time. But, I would spit to her and like have like this comic, this comedic, delivery to her, but be saying some like real street stuff. So she was probably like, this is the cutest thing ever. This guy's talking about hustling and stealing cars. Like, this is nuts. But the second reason I know she used to pay attention was because it kept me in the house. Like, you know what I mean? It was less worry for her. It's like, he's in his room for hours with instrumentals on. Right. He's just writing and writing. I know my baby's in the next room. Right. Like, and my mom was my best friend for years. Like, I think about, like, not even just the loose leaf paper and keep reading. Like, she literally, I'll share this. I don't give a shit. Like, like she would be sitting in the bathroom, like using the like I was annoying. So I'd be knocking on the door. She'd be like, I'm using the bathroom. Can you open the door? I grab the toilet paper. I used to act like the toilet paper was a football. And she'd play catch with me. That's like I don't know how much of a higher level of best friend there is. Like, she'd play catch with me from the toilet to the hallway, like with a Scott tissue. And she'd be like, you dropped it. Like, just automatically get into character. And I haven't had a friend like that still.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
And that's crazy concentration.
Come on, dude. Like, using the bathroom and still catching Scott tissues.
My kids are knocking on the door. Like, Dad needs a moment. This is my alone.
This is it. This is all I get.
We only got a 2-bedroom apartment. Right? That needs sanity right now.
Right.
You end the album with Grammy, and it's kind of telling us why you do this art. You don't do it for the awards. You do, how, if at all, has your reason from when you first started to now changed over your career? Why you do this? Has it ever been for a Grammy? I mean, was that when you were younger, we're like, I'm going to get a Grammy, whatever. But now it's this realization.
You know what's so crazy about the Grammy song? The Grammy song is for my fans more than it's for me, because they champion me so hard. Like, you can't tell a Joell Ortiz fan, like, yo, Joell Ortiz isn't the dopest thing to ever touch paper. And they're literally tired of feeling like I'm an underrated MC.
Right.
Like, I get it so much on my social medias and emails and things like that. Like, dude, this song helped me with this in my life. Like, this song did this. And, yo, dude, you're so much better than this, and this. Like, they compare me all the time. And they feel like cheated. They feel, like they honestly feel like, yo, he should have, not just Grammys, just been celebrated.
Yeah.
He should have been celebrated a lot more than he actually is. But I'll continue to celebrate him. And I have gotten that so much that I just wanted to put out to the fans, like, yo, awards are cool, but at the end of the day, I'm doing exactly what I love, the exact way I want to do it, and taking care of everybody that I care about. I won. And I'm winning. And it's because of y'all. Right. The people that y'all think we're such a minority, but like, nah, you're the everything in my life. You're the absolute reason why I get to keep making music and why I get to, take care of my people and not have to sell out and make a certain sort of sound to try to make money and do shows. Like, no, you guys show up for me all the time. I don't need anything. You guys are the award.
Nice.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I take care of, my mom and my kids and my friends and family. And I am not in any way, shape, or form sitting here saying that I am super paid anyway either. Don't get that twisted. And a Grammy would always, but I'm just saying that I'm able to do it my way, and it's because of them. So I know you guys want me to stand on stages with a speech and, I thank everybody and stuff like that, but it probably won't happen. There's a good chance that won't happen. But if it does, I'll be prepared. And my catalog will be everything that I include in my speech. From the Brick Bodega Chronicles all the way to Monday and things that are coming after this. Like, I'll be able to have such a story to tell in that 30 seconds that they give you on the stage. But you guys are the absolute reason that I never really was passionate or even cared about that stuff. Underrated to who? Like, to who at the end of the day? Like, to the board that sits around and decides who wins these awards? Like, I'm pretty sure some of them might know who I am. And if they don't, that's fine. I don't talk to them.
Right.
I talk to you guys. I'm the barbershop freaking Grammy winner every year. And I'm good with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I walk into the barbershop, when I walk in there, they're like, yo, man, that champion, yo, that captain, I'm good. I feel like I've accepted another award every time.
Your writing process, or, you know, obviously your lyrics are incredible, and I can't write a song for the life of me, so that makes it, you know, I've been trying to do it for 40 years.
Really?
Not working. It's not working too well.
It's all good.
I mean, 21 years. I'm, 21 years old. What am I talking about?
Right, exactly.
But when you're writing, are there drafts to your projects? I mean, or is it something that you just kind of, you hear a beat, or maybe you have an idea for a song and you just kind of make sure you get it done?
You know what?
Right away.
From the beginning of my career to now, the writing process itself has not changed. I still write to the music that moves me, and whatever comes to mind is usually what I decide to stay with. But back in my earlier days, I would rewrite sometimes. I'd rewrite. I'd stay on topic, on concept, but I'd rewrite. And I think that was part of finding myself, you know, because when you're fresh in the game, you're not fully writing for yourself. You're writing for people too. You're writing for response and reaction. So I would listen back to songs and think what people would think. And that would be a lot of the stuff that went into the process of writing. Now, I pretty much converse over music. Like, so I don't like to, I like to catch the moment of however, once my pen starts going, that's what it's going to be. Because I'm okay with flaws too. Like, I wasn't so okay with that. Like, I would listen back, but I could have said that better. But now when I listen back, it's just always pure. It's always what it is. And I want everybody to get exactly what I felt when I started writing it. I don't want to really amend it and turn it into a song and less of a conversation, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I don't approach it like, yo, you know what flow would be crazy on this? Or, you know what I'm going to talk about on this? Like, the music usually guides me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to the music for a while, loud, then low, then in headphones, then in the car. And then I'll feel what it's telling me to tell it. And then I'll start telling it. And then that's usually what it is. I don't have any wasted bars anymore. Like, I don't have any, let's scrap that. Like, as if it made me feel, then it's a keeper to me.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Like, same time as a Joell record. It was inspired by a lot of my friends, you know, that went to jail, and they tell you would think I was in jail. Like, the way one of my dudes was just like, dude, how do you do that? I'm like, yo, it's the, you know, conversations you have with me and the conversations that he had with me and being around it so much. And like, cause the jail culture and the projects is like a big deal. It's like, yo, yeah, my boy doing a little bit. He be right back. You see the free with everybody shirt. They still doing it. Free. It's like big. It's a big deal. But I was like, yo, I want to write from the perspective of somebody that's fresh in jail. Cause I've heard that story. Like, yo, when I got there, I was like this and that. And I also want to write from somebody that is a skid bitter. That's what we call them. Like, every now and then they go to jail and then they come home, they say they cleaned it up, and then they're back in jail. Right. And I know that, you know, their stories and the rookie in jail is much different. So the music made me feel that, though. Like, you know, conversations a couple of days before on the phone with one of my boys that's upstate now. And then that music, and I was just like, all right, cool, I'm going to talk about this. And I wrote it, and that's it. It is what it is. I want it to be a part of my story. It's going on the album, you know, and that's how music takes shape for me now.
Okay. Lastly,
yep.
What was the first beat you heard for this album, and what was the first track you wrote for this album?
Let me think now. I don't want to. I'm pretty sure it was Captain. I'm pretty sure it was Captain. Shout to the Heatmakers. Awesomeness. I'm pretty sure it was Captain, but let me just go through the playlist in my head. Let me get past all the Instagram posts and all the confusion in my head to find my track list. It's in there somewhere.
Joell, put down the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Put down the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Captain, which ended up being the tone setter for the album. So that worked out pretty well. Yeah, because it is, because I'm like, what's going on? He's been missing. He used to run the show. It's been a long intermission. And I remember Austin used to be like, you just dropped an album. You ain't been missing. I remember that. It was Captain. Yeah, so it had this like triumphant feel to it, you know, and I was just like, all right, if I'm going to approach an album again, let me approach it from the warrior side and just kind of tell the fans that might not be privy to the things I just did that I'm here and I've arrived again. Because you know what's so crazy? Like with the internet and virtual world, you kind of forget, like, people 30, 35 plus, they might not be on there.
Right, yeah.
I walk through the city sometimes and I see some dudes just like, dog, I need some music. I'm just like, you need music? And I'm like, oh, wait, there's still a crowd of older people, not necessarily old people, but just in their 30s that associates music with radio still.
Yeah.
So if I'm not on the radio, they don't think I got anything going on, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote, like, you know, what's going on? You've been missing. He used to run the show because I bumped into a fan that was just like, dog, man, that bodega was everything to me, man. Where you at? I was just like, where am I at? Are you nuts? I be around sometimes. So I just started naming some stuff and he's like, what? And I know he had like a super, like, not flip phone, but like a super. I'm like, he don't have none of this stuff. Like, he's pre-screens. So, you know, I had to remember that, listen, man, like, not only are you, you know, doing this for people that might not be so privy to the amount of work you've done since you started, but there's new fans every single time. So here you are.
That's true. I mean, I have friends, not necessarily about you, but I tell them about someone. He goes, "Oh yeah, that guy has to drop a project." I was like, "Yeah, he just did last week.
He just did that.
He just dropped it last week."
Exactly.
And actually, when that lyric for Captain does come on, I was like, "Wait, didn't he drop a? Wait, him and Apollo Brown did a project. Wait, where have?
Yeah, it's great. The speed of music and the world in general is really, really nuts right now, man. It's really nuts.
All right, he's Joell Ortiz. New album is Monday, which is a fucking incredible album.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much for being on the library.
Tim, you know I love you. Every time I drop something, I'm coming to check you, Tim.
Yeah, nice.
With that bus driver note, find me that Western Union. I'd send your mother some dough. I'd try to find time whenever I was alone to try to get y'all on the phone just to see what's going on. Y'all ain't little boys no more. Look at how much you have grown. My youngest one taller than me. My oldest, my skinnier clone. I know that I missed out on you.